The Fallen Angel, a tale of deceit, betrayal, and lost divinity. In a distant country, a woman once blessed with divine gifts found herself lost in a world of chaos and despair. She had been a beacon of light, a spiritual being with the power to heal and guide, but her choices led her down a dark path. This is the story of her fall from grace, the consequences of her actions, and the karmic justice that followed. The descent begins. She was once a radiant soul, a divine being with spiritual gifts that could have changed lives. But instead of using her abilities for good, she turned them toward greed and self-preservation. Life had not been kind to her. She was left jobless, struggling to survive in a foreign land. Desperate, she turned to TikTok, hoping to find a community of influencers and karaoke enthusiasts who might accept her. But the world of social media was unforgiving, and she soon found herself resorting to escorting to pay off her debts and put food on the table. Her bisexuality was a secret she guarded closely, using it to her advantage in love bombing and flirtatious schemes. She manipulated those around her, weaving a web of deceit to get what she wanted, but her actions came at a cost. Her spiritual gifts, once pure and divine, became tainted by her greed and lust for power. The breaking point. Her life took a dramatic turn when her tomboy girlfriend, fed up with her manipulative ways, slapped her and kicked her out of their home. Homeless and desperate, she relocated to a co-sharing villa, where she prayed to God for help. She begged for someone to come into her life and set her back on the right path, and God answered her prayer. A decent man, drawn to her musical talents, entered her life through her TikTok platform. They connected over their shared love for music, and their friendship blossomed into something deeper. They spent hours on video calls and messages, growing closer each day. Eventually, he decided to take their relationship to the next level. He traveled to see her, and after a week of serious discussions, he made the life-changing decision to bring her back to his home. He paid off her debts, cleared her belongings, and booked her tickets, welcoming her into his life with open arms. For a while, everything seemed perfect. They moved their relationship toward a serious commitment, but just as things were getting serious, she freaked out. She ghosted him, leaving him shocked and heartbroken. Weeks passed, and she returned with apologies and promises, only to ghost him again months later. This pattern continued until he finally blocked her out of his life. The final betrayal. Determined to find answers, he confronted her in her new rented room, giving her one last chance to explain herself. But what he discovered shattered him. She had been married all along, with children. She had never mentioned. Her entire relationship with him had been built on lies. The consequences of choices. Her deceit and betrayal were not without consequences. Her once divine gifts had faded, leaving her vulnerable and unprotected. She had fallen into the clutches of a karmic cycle, her life spiraling out of control. She had slept with a Jezebel, a manipulative and lustful individual who attached demonic energies to her, cursing her bloodline and draining her spiritual power. This Jezebel had used her to siphon energy from her divine partner, exploiting her for financial gain and spiritual warfare. Though she was a victim of love spells and attachment spells, she had made her choices. She knew what she was doing, and her actions had dire consequences. Her divinity was stripped away, and she became a fallen angel, lost in a world of low vibrations, lust, and parting. The ancestral protection. Meanwhile, those who had been wronged by her found protection from their ancestors. They remembered the importance of spiritual hygiene, prayer, cleansing, and staying connected to their intuition. They kept their defenses up, knowing that the snake energy around them was crumbling. Justice was being served, and they watched as karma played out for those who had harmed them. The karmic female who had orchestrated the smear campaign against them was now facing the consequences of her actions. Her days were numbered, and her health was failing. She was exhausted from the battle she had started, and her lies were no longer working. The people who had worked against them, those who had betrayed them for a piece of the pie, were now being exposed. Their fraudulent activities and deceit were coming to light, and justice was being served. The rise of the divine. As the fallen angel struggled in her karmic cycle, those she had wronged rose above the chaos. They focused on self-care and spiritual hygiene, staying prayed up and protected. They watched as the toxic energies around them crumbled, knowing that their intuition and connection to their ancestors were their greatest defenses. The man she had betrayed found peace and closure. He moved on, knowing that he had done everything he could to help her. His life was no longer weighed down by her deceit, and he embraced a new beginning, free from the drama and toxicity she had brought into his life. The final reckoning. The fallen angel, now stripped of her divinity, faced the consequences of her choices. Her life was a mess, her spiritual gifts gone, and her bloodline cursed by the demonic attachments she had allowed into her life. She had lost everything: her divine partner, her spiritual protection, and her sense of self. But even in her darkest moments, there was a glimmer of hope. The universe always offers a chance for redemption. If she could confront her actions, seek forgiveness, and truly change, she might one day find her way back to the light. But for now, she was a cautionary tale, a reminder of the consequences of deceit, betrayal, and the misuse of divine gifts. This story is a powerful reminder of the importance of staying true to oneself and using our gifts for good. Deceit and betrayal may bring temporary gains, but the karmic consequences are inevitable. Stay prayed up, protect your energy, and trust in the divine justice that always prevails.